Alright, continuing on in Counsels to Sabbath School Work, page 28, partway through the paragraph. It says, no one can afford. Actually, I'll read the last sentence just to have it fresh in our minds. When a message comes in the name of the Lord to his people, no one may excuse himself from an investigation of its claims. No one can afford to stand back in an attitude of indifference and self-confidence and say, I know what is truth, I am satisfied with my position, I have set my stakes and I will not be moved away from my position, whatever may come. I will not listen to the message of this messenger, for I know that it cannot be truth. It is from pursuing this very course that the popular churches were left in partial darkness, and that is why the messages of heaven have not reached them. Alright, so we're learning here that our attitude makes a huge difference as far as reception of truth. And, the question may be asked, which is worse? To reject truth or to accept some error? So contemplate that. Maybe let me know what you think in the comment box below. But it's a question that should be asked. Which is worse? To reject truth or to accept some error? Alright. Next reference here is Gospel Workers, page 304. It says, the rebuke of the Lord will rest upon those who would bar the way, that clearer light shall not come to the people. A great work is to be done, and God sees that our leading men have need of more light, that they may unite with the messengers whom he sends to accomplish the work that he designs shall be done. The Lord has raised up messengers and endued them with his Spirit, and said, cry aloud, spare not. Lift up thy voice like a trumpet, and show my people their transgressions, and the house of Jacob their sins. Isaiah 58:1. Let no one run the risk of interposing between the people and the message of heaven. This message will go to the people, and if there be no voice among men to give it, the very stones would cry out. Alright, so that's letting you know, for people of position out there watching this video, if you are trying to put yourself between any message and the people, and you're putting yourself in between, if it's the message from God, then you need to know that it will not work. It's pointless to even try, because if the men are stopped from speaking, men and women, the messengers that God sends, even the very stones will cry out. Alright? But it says here, let no one run the risk of interposing between the people and the message. Alright? Now, Ellen G. White, 1888 Materials, page 566. It says, I speak of these men that they may know, that they may understand what is truth. And if they will not hear, if they will keep away, just as the ministers tell the congregations, the stay away argument, don't go here. Now, you want to hear everything. If he has got error, we want to know it. We want to understand it. Those that are in prominent positions, and then we want to investigate for ourselves. We want to know that it is truth, and if it is truth. Brethren, those children in the Sabbath school want it, and every soul of them need it. This is what we want. Alright? Hopefully you understood what was being said there, even though the grammar of that paragraph is perhaps slightly different than we're used to. But I'll read it again, and I want you to listen carefully to what Sister White is saying here. Again, this is Ellen G. White, 1888 Materials, page 566. Listen closely to what she's saying, and understand the principles that are underlying this. It says, I speak of these men that they may know, that they may understand what is truth. And if they will not hear, if they will keep away, just as the ministers tell the congregation, the stay away argument, don't go here, And that's hear as in hearing with your ears. Now, you want to hear everything. If he has got error, we want to know it. We want to understand it. Those that are in prominent positions, and then we want to investigate for ourselves. We want to know that it is truth, and if it is truth. Brethren, those children in the Sabbath school want it, and every soul of them need it. This is what we want. So you see that she's saying that no matter what it is, even if it's error, she says, we want to hear it, we want to understand it. We don't want to run the risk of rejecting truth, which is what she's saying that the ministers are encouraging the people to do, because she says, if they will not hear, if they will keep away from the investigation, just as the ministers tell the congregation, she calls it the stay away argument. Alright? She says, they say, don't go and hear. So, that's a very risky position for any minister to put themselves in, as we will read in the quote after this next one. This next one is taken from Testimonies to Ministers, page 70. It says, but the Holy Spirit will, from time to time, reveal the truth through his own agencies, and no man, not even a priest or ruler, has a right to say, you shall not give publicity to your opinions, because I do not believe them. That wonderful I may attempt to put down the Holy Spirit's teaching. Men may for a time attempt to smother it and kill it, but that will not make error truth or truth error. The inventive minds of men have advanced speculative opinions in various lines, and when the Holy Spirit lets light shine into the human minds, or into human minds, it does not respect every point of man's application of the word. God impresses his servants to speak the truth irrespective of what men had taken for granted as truth. Alright? So we need to expect that if God sends light, we will have to change some of our current understandings. Alright? It's to be expected. We need to be ready for it. And even, I can understand the minds of many people. Perhaps you're somebody who was in a Sunday keeping church and then you came into the Seventh-day Adventist church. And so you already gave up your previous opinions, and now you think that you're here and you got it right. Before you were in error, but now you're in the truth, right? Which I have to say, you do have truth. If you become a Seventh-day Adventist, I'm sure you have a lot more truth than you had in the Sunday keeping churches, or the Catholic Church, or just plain, heathen secular world, right? But that's not to say that you understand everything now. Is that fair enough? Is it fair to say that yourself as well as myself probably have many things that we take for granted as truth, but they perhaps are not exactly what God is trying to tell us? And we're being told in this last reference that when the Holy Spirit shines light onto us, it does not respect every application of the word that we've made. So we need to expect that we are wrong in many things. The Spirit of Prophecy says we have many things to learn and many, many things to unlearn. And that was being written as well to Seventh-day Adventists. So we know that even as Seventh-day Adventists, we have many, many things to unlearn, and also many things to learn. So this next reference is taken from 11 Manuscript Release. That's volume 11 of the Manuscript Release series, page 85 and 86. It says, in the very courts of the temple. Listen carefully to what is said in this reference, because it is a very strong reference. In the very courts of the temple, scenes will be enacted that few realize. God's people will be proved and tested, that he may discern between him that serveth God and him that serveth him not. Vengeance will be executed against those who sit in the gate, deciding what the people should have and what they should not have. These take away the key of knowledge. They refuse to enter in themselves, and those that would enter they hinder. These bear not the seal of the living God. All who now occupy responsible positions should be solemnly and terribly afraid, lest in this time they shall be found as unfaithful stewards. Alright? So, I hope you were listening carefully to those words, and if you were not, please look this up. Either if you have the book, look it up on the Ellen White CD-ROM, or look it up on the internet. The Ellen White Estate has a new CD program in which you could search this up. It's volume 11 of the Manuscript Release Series, page 85 and 86. Notice she's speaking of the church, because she says, in the very courts of the temple, scenes will be enacted, which she realized. Now she can't be speaking of the heavenly sanctuary here, because she's talking of men in the gates, who are men of responsible position, deciding what the people should have and what they should not have. And she said vengeance will be executed against them. Alright? And she even says God's people will be proved and tested. Alright? And I want you to notice as well that she draws attention to the fact that these bear not the seal of the living God. That phrase, again, is taken from Revelation 7 in reference to the 144,000. And we know that those who bear not the seal of the living God in Ezekiel 9 are those who fall in the slaughter. Which is why here she says vengeance will be executed against those who sit in the gate, deciding what the people should have and what they should not have. Alright, so if you are a minister, please carefully take heed to this instruction. It's not me who's saying it. I'm just another person out there. Right? It's not me, but it's God. And He's speaking through Sister White, telling us that if we have an attitude that is trying to control what people are thinking or what people are investigating or what people are reading, that vengeance will be executed against us because we are putting ourselves in the role of the Holy Spirit. Alright? So please go and read that section carefully. Review and Herald, June 29, 1886, paragraph 8. There are many honest souls in these valleys, but they do not understand the truth for this time. And it is not merely by argument that they are to learn it. There is a work to be done of feeding these hungry, starving sheep with spiritual food. Many of the professed teachers of the people are perfectly content to set their stakes and make no advancement themselves, and they are much disturbed when others are induced to seek for truth. Ask yourselves, is this you? When light is presented, they feel as the Pharisees felt when Christ came with new light for the Jewish nation. They want to stop the increase of light. They not only refuse to search the scriptures for themselves, but they do all in their power to prevent others from searching. Alright? So she's telling us that this is the case. And sadly, I've seen it. That there are people out there who do not want other people to be able to investigate anything proclaiming to be from God that is different from what they currently understand or is proclaiming to be further truth. Alright? So it's looking like time is running short on this video, but we'll do one more getting into Ezekiel 8, and then that'll be the end of this series. Alright.